Now, turn to page 12. Hopefully, you have somewhat of an understanding about how to find a fret on your banjo on a given string. When we do this first exercise, this first tab staff on page 12, I don't really care which fretting hand finger you use to find these frets. You can use all index finger if you like for now, all middle finger if you like for now, or any combination of fingers that's comfortable for you. And we'll get into the proper finger rules in a few pages down the line. So, let me read some of this text to get you into how to follow this up-and-coming tab staff on page 12. Each beat is marked with a number that refers to the fret number to play on that beat. Of course, if the number is 0, then you play that string open, no fretting hand involved. Whatever line that fret number appears on tells you what string to pick. Sometimes string is abbreviated STR, just so you know. Now, the first note on this tab staff, that's an easy one. It's a 0, so you play your third string. Reason why you play your third string is it's in the middle of the tab staff, therefore the string in the middle of your banjo. And there it is. Now, up and coming, we have a 2. It's on the same line, therefore that has to be third string, second fret. That's what it sounds like. Let me give you a little tip on fretting a string. When pushing on that string, push your finger towards the right edge of that fret. Not on top of the fret wire itself, but just behind it. It's easier to push there and you get your best sound there. Even if I move my finger back to the center between the two fret wires of the second fret, notice that it's harder to push and not as clear. So by keeping that finger to the right side of the fret as you're looking at it, gives you a nice clear note. Let me start that exercise again, nice and slow. Starts on open third string, then same string, third string, second fret. We are going up a line now to the second string, open. Then the fourth note, same string at first fret, second string, first fret. And I gave that to you. The next one along the way is open first string, followed by same string, first string, second fret. I gave you that one. Followed by open first string again, 0. The final note in the measure is a 0 on the next line down, therefore second string, open. We draw our bar line after 8 notes, and we come to third string, second fret, followed by second string, first fret, fifth string, open. Then to the opposite side, first string, open, and then down to fourth string, open. Then another skip up to first string, second fret, followed by still first string, but fourth fret, and ending with fifth string, open. Now let me play the whole exercise really slow, with a count of 4 to get you into this. And don't worry too much if you can't keep up with me. The important thing is that you understand the nomenclature, that you know when a string changes from, say, a third string to a second string, and that you know that a number on a given line is for a fret, and therefore you have to figure out what line belongs with what string, and the little number tells you what fret to play on that string. And again, if it's a 0, it's an open string. So I'll play the whole line now, more in rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bar line. Let me do that once more at the same tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, kind of in the middle of page 12, there's a title that says eighth notes and quarter notes. And I'm going to skip down to a double staff. They're joined together. The top line is a typical music treble clef staff, and the bottom line, which goes with it, is traditional tablature and the way it's written. Now, eighth notes traditionally are written in groups of fours with what they call a beam to hold those four notes together in four-note groups. And quarter notes have just what's called a stem coming down from them, an individual stem. But you will notice that, at least in the music, that the eighth notes are shaded in with the beam below for grouping them in groups of four. They are all played evenly. They are the faster notes within this staff. The quarter notes appear individually. They are still shaded in, but they have the single stem, and they are the slower or longer notes. It takes 2 eighth notes to equal 1 quarter note. So when you hear this, you will hear the speed of the eighth notes, and then the quarter notes will be slowed down to exactly half the speed of those previous eighth notes. So, assuming you've never read music, that is just to show you what your D or first string looks like on a music staff. But we're concentrating really on the bottom staff of this pair of staves, and that is what your D or first string looks like in tablature, and written as first as eighth notes in the first measure, and then quarter notes in the next measure, kind of back and forth. So let me give a count of 4, and then I'm going to play that D note tab staff for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slower. So you will often see that sort of notation in many banjo instruction books. It gives you the music on the top staff, gives you the tablature on the bottom staff. And now, on to page 13. And the following example shows my version of tablature. What I've done is eliminate the vertical and horizontal lines in hopes it might be easier to digest that way. Now the top line, the music staff, is still the same as in the other one, so this exercise will sound exactly the same. But the way I do my eighth notes is they are simply one note after another, virtually no space in between. And then for my quarter notes, I have the note followed by an X on the middle line of the staff. That X represents a pause, which is the so-called missing eighth note. So once again, the notes at the beginning of this staff will be the quicker notes, and then notice it says put on the brakes when you see those 4 notes in the second measure with the X's in between. And then we go back to the faster eighth notes in the third measure, and in the fourth measure we are playing quarter notes again, slowed down by those pause markings. So let me give you a count, and at first you'll hear the eighth notes. I am reading the tablature staff now, primarily, and the treble clef staff above is just a guide. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put on the brakes and rest. Pause. Pause. Quicker. Pause. 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 Moving on to the next pair of staves on page 13, and it's under where it says half notes. And in this treble clef staff plus tablature, we will compare eighth notes, the fastest notes, to quarter notes, twice as slow, to now half notes, which are slower yet than the quarter notes. So it takes 8 eighth notes to fill up a measure, and it takes 4 quarter notes to fill up a measure, but it only takes 2 half notes to fill up a measure, them being twice as slow as the quarter notes. So let me play that first double staff. And this is standard banjo notation. 1, 2, 3, 4. Real slow. Now we have another pair of staves underneath what I just played, and it says eighth notes quick, quarter notes slower, half notes slower yet. And this is the comparison of how my tablature looks to the standard tablature that you find in most banjo books. So once again, you will find that my eighth notes are just one after the other, no spaces in between. My quarter notes are a note plus an X for that pause you need to pause for the quarter notes. And then finally, the last two measures are the half notes, which involve the note followed by an X followed by an R. For now, we'll call that relax, because you're really waiting for those half notes to happen. So now I will play you that Jeff's version of this tablature of eighth notes, quarter notes, and half notes. This is the final staff at the bottom of page 13. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 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 relax, pause, relax, pause, relax, pause, relax. I feel like I'm doing a meditation tape all of a sudden.